Hey guys, Josh Gadamu here with our Gundam Custom Show Off. These are 4 projects that I'm still working on, and so they're each in a phase of development. First off is my GM Recon. What I have here is a resin cast of the GM Sniper without its visor, and kind of a gun for searching out areas. It's not really a projectile weapon. It's not even a weapon. It's got some Gundam full armor shields. Plan on making him this color right here, and just keeping the blue and making this the light color as well. The head will be the same kind of color as the body. Green visor. It's got the full armor backpack, resin casted. I've made it so it stores a beam saber over here. I had to do a fair amount of epoxy sculpting on this backpack, and there's still little holes that I see. Sometimes you don't see these things well until you dye it. I'll just patch those up. This legs came from another project, another GM variant I was working on. I just decided, I'll just do this guy right now. And those are heavy arms backpacks, boosters drilled in and plugged in, and then a little bit of epoxy sculpt around. Put a little epoxy sculpt there. I'll probably touch that up with some paint. You can cut down the knees. You just trim the top, and you kind of shave this part down, and then you take some acetone and Q-tips and you remove this paint, and you can see that here on the General's legs. Makes it very GM-ish. There's more you could do, but that's the simple way to turn those RX legs into GMs. Anyways, I like him. Oh yeah, he's got these cameras on the front and the back, and I gave him like silver reflective stickers. I thought that that would make him kind of pop a little bit. Make them neat. This will have a sticker as well. Just super glue those on so they don't come off. This guy I have to re-embed this arm joint, but this is just a version 1.9. One of my custom creations uses a strike ball joint up in here, and it's just got a GM Kai head because I stole the regular GM head for some other project. Oh no! I just dyed these shoulders orange, and they don't really match this red. And I just realized that they're 2 separate shoulders. This is a version 2 shoulder. This is a 1.5. Aside from it being dyed wrong, it's a wrong mix of shoulders. Wah, wah, wah. That's okay. I was just going to have to dye them black anyways or something. I'll figure that out. So, this guy in the works. I'm just going to finish the knees, touch up this head with epoxy, and then paint it. He should look pretty cool. Just a nice little variation. I'm going to show this guy off last. Okay, this shield came from... It's a movable frame non-model / model kit. They kind of call it a model kit, but it's not a model kit. And I call this the General. Turns out this epoxy putty here that my wife did, she apparently didn't mix it. Which she must have got distracted or something, because it's soft. But I cut this out, threw epoxy putty in there, then my wife cut down the epoxy, then re-epoxied it, except that and he's done again. But it's got a very nice GM style head. Kind of like I call this guy the General. This is what you would essentially call the grandfather of GMs. Like there's the Gundam, and then there's the Gundam slimmed down, and okay, well, let's cut off the pockets, let's slim down the knees, let's, take away the beam rifle, and, probably want, later on they'll take the second beam saber, but, at the moment he still has 2 sabers. But, he's got that GM visor, but it's built into the RX-78 head, just kind of the method of the slim down to the GM. And so, I kind of like him. It's just, I like it. Yeah. Alright, this one I want feedback on. I don't know. This is kind of a crazy idea. This is all my own. There's the Mobile Suit Dom. And the Dom is fast and kind of deadly. And so the idea is that the Federation would come up with an answer to this. Now, sometimes people say, well, that's the D-Type GM. But the D-Type GM... Well, it does have quad boosters in its backpack. Other than that, the D-Type doesn't really have what I think it needs to keep up with the Dom. So, the D-Type's also called the Cold District type. So, it depends on your source material. I think Lost, the Blue Destiny manga, first version, kind of states that it's for fighting Doms. Anyways, so I've been trying to come up with, what would be the Federation's answer to fighting the Dom. Obviously, sooner or later, at Odessa, they've captured one, or, got scraps, or things like that. And they probably started experimenting. And I know that there's a type of GM that hovers. But I thought, what would be a kind of a more Dom-like version of that? And this is what I came up with. And, if you know your MSA, you might be freaking out because you'll be like, wait a minute. Is that GPO2 version 2 parts? Yeah, it is. But they're leftovers from a very important project. I built a Zanny, and I'm going to have a review for that soon. And the Zanny is, I love it. It's so cool. I wanted it in my collection. I tried to look for other ways to build it, and that was the best way to build it. So I had these parts lying around. So I got version 2 torso up here, GM Kai head, resin cast, GPO2 arms and legs with some Grizzly Gundam feet. Feet could change, but I thought they looked kind of cool. Anyways, I kind of thought, what would a Dom look like? And there's, Cobra Gundam shoulders. This guy would need some paint, some kind of color scheme. But, I don't know, let me know what you think. Is he UC enough for the UC club? Or is he just a little bit too Gundam build fighters to actually fit into the UC? I don't know, but I think he looks kind of awesome. Kind of cool. I don't know. I'll probably end up trimming these top things off at least. Paint can do a lot for making mobile suit parts not look like the parts that they came from. It'd kind of be cool to see a Dom and this guy go at it. That'd be so cool. See them doing this sword battle. Yeah. So, those are projects I'm working on. I've also got some custom Zaku projects, some F2s in the works in quantity. And then, yeah, I'm always building. Always building. There's projects I start, I get stuck on them, I throw them in a bin, I come back to them years later and go, oh, this is the part I needed. I just kind of figure it out. And sometimes I just kind of sit down and I make stuff. And sometimes it takes a lot more planning and things like that. I also got a GM Kai, official version 2 GM Kai in the works. I think there's just a little bit of detail I need to do to him and he could be done. So, cool stuff, cool stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. I post a new toy review just about every other day. And I'll see you next time. Also, check out the Gundam Customs Club down below in the More Info area. It's on Facebook. There's a link for it. See you later.